What's going on, everybody? This is Lamar, and this is Political Media, and this is, debate, post-debate coverage. And we got a gentleman there. What's going on, Mr. Wade?
What's going on, sir? What's going on?
Oh man, just checking out this interesting spectacle on the television.
That's a great word to say, spectacle. That's exactly what it is.
It's quite the interesting spectacle.
Very much. What I looked at, what I blinked on is Melania has a mask on, Trump does not.
What?
Okay.
So he still hasn't learned.
Still hasn't learned.
Yeah. But we're waiting on a couple other folks to come, but we can go ahead and chat a bit as they come in and as viewers come in.
Yep.
Let me see. Post debate. Let me put my lower third in here.
Oh man.
But overall, what are your thoughts of this? Who won this debate?
All right, so that's an interesting question. I thought about that.
It's loaded.
So it's a really loaded question. So let's do it like this. For not even looking at it in a vacuum, but for the expectations that I have of Donald Trump, he won that debate.
You feel like Donald Trump won the debate?
I thought so. Now it's far. Hear me out on this, right? And I'm not talking about like answering the question. I'm not talking about giving substance. I'm talking about my expectations for him. So my expectations for him were incredibly low, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And watching him just, with his facial reactions, not interrupting until the end, right? But he was kind of hitting Joe with some jabs, like, hey, 8 years, why didn't you do it then? Crime bill, all that other stuff, right? So that was my point. But as far as in a vacuum, it was Joe Biden, because Joe seemed contrite for what he did in the past. Mm-hmm. Joe had a plan for none of these plans seem actionable. This is like just throw out in the game, right? But nonetheless, he was still talking to the American public. So I still feel Joe has a great opportunity of winning. But as I mentioned, with the expectations that I had of Donald Trump, I would have said it would have been him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I would have to disagree. Look at my lady here. She look at her. She talking about who is this host? Is he single? And I'm not. My woman carries a couple of guns actually. She keep them on her person at all times.
A couple of them. What's she?
A couple of them. So I don't know. You enter at your own risk. Gina Chamarita said Biden got this debate. And you know what? I would have to agree with Sheena. I think that any person that is a Trump supporter that watched this, that it would have been hard to watch this and still be like, yeah, that's our guy. Yeah, that's our guy. He literally deflected on every single thing. And I got so frustrated because I was like, okay, what will you do? So every question, everything he was asked about COVID, and he talked about Biden. You said this. You didn't want me to shut. You didn't want me to shut down. Now you're saying you want me to shut down. When he asked about electric security, well, your son is making money from what company? What was that? Russia. Russia. Your son getting money from Russia. Yep. He asked him about China. You're weak on China. He asked him about the economy. You and Obama did such and such, but healthcare, you guys did ABCD, but he would never talk about what he would do. Like everybody should know, no matter how staunch of a Trump supporter you are, he has no plan whatsoever for healthcare. None. No matter how horrible some people might think Obamacare is, you have no plan. Your only plan is to repeal, destroy it, pull it apart. But what are you replacing it with? And I could literally get with him if he went with the Republicans. What's your replacement? Mm-hmm. What's the replacement? Give me something to work with, or give anybody that's a supporter of yours, I'm not, but anybody that's a conservative, something to work with on what you would do to replace Obamacare if you're gonna take it away. Don't just strip stuff away and not replace it. What's going on, Ricky?
So what you're doing, hey Ricky, what you're doing there is you're falling into the trap that everybody falls into. Right? Trump has always deferred since 2016. He's always deferred since all of his debates, right? So no matter what, he's never answered a direct question. So that's why I'm never surprised. I had low expectations of him. My expectations of him, maybe I should explain that. My expectations for him were, do not act like there's a tantrum, right? Do not throw a temper tantrum. Do not just keep going off the rails, right? He kept his composure as much as he could have, right? For the most part, for a him, right?
Yeah.
For a him, he kept the composure.
For a narcissistic
butthole. Right. So nonetheless, it was more of Joe Biden's to lose because all Joe had to do was just ignore whatever Trump would have said because he still goes with the same game plan. He was running a Wildcat. It was like 2011 when the Miami Dolphins kept running the Wildcat and they won the division. Right? He kept doing the same tactic the whole entire time, and all Joe had to do was just focus on the message he wanted to deliver. So whenever Joe diverted his attention to whatever Trump said, that was a point for Trump. Again, not saying that Trump. Actually, I disagree with him. Biden did take a lot of debates, right? I'm not saying again that Trump won if it was a real humanistic vacuum debate, it was Biden that won. But nonetheless, for the expectations I had of Trump, I was more surprised. I was impressed for his composure. I still think he's going to lose. Hopefully, please. But
Ricky, what's your thought on this thing? Who won this debate?
I think Joe Biden won the debate mainly because he talked more about policies than Donald Trump did. But I also, I don't think it changes anything. I think, the conservatives will be extremely happy with Donald Trump's performance. He listened to them this time, by being cooler. He still did a lot of more attacking than Joe Biden did as far as on, issues that Americans really don't care about. He got this 2016 playbook that, trying to make Joe Biden a criminal, and America don't feel that same way about Joe Biden at all. But I think his base would be happy with this debate. He might have swayed some voters that might have been on the fence a little bit.
Who's that?
Some Trump supporters who voted in 2016, but kind of have come off of him because of the last 3 years of his rhetoric and his how he's just acted like a kid over the last 4 years of his presidency. I think that America, those people who was like, I don't know, I think they'll feel happier about his performance this time than last time. So I think all in all, I think Joe Biden did what he had to do. Just don't mess up.
What's going on, Vic?
What's up, Vic? Man? What's up? How's everybody doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me, man.
So I want to jump.
It took me a second to get on here, man. Just got off.
That's okay. You get a chance to see this debate?
I did. I definitely had that going.
Who won?
I can't miss a debate.
Who won and why?
Who won and why? Honestly, man, I felt going into this, Trump was already coming such a handicap. If he was civil, he was gonna definitely do better, just by that standard.
Yeah.
So,
I said the same exact thing.
I think, honestly, Biden was coming off hot before going into this debate. So if you want to, I say it was a proverbial tie because it wasn't like Trump took him down in any big way, but he got some good, clean licks in, I thought, which was, very, like I said, man, it was a very low bar. So for him to just stabilize it.
Your comment.
Now, he ate his lunch with the crime bill, and I got to give him those points.
Yeah.
He won that?
He ate his lunch with the crime bill. I have to give him those points in the super predator thing. Didn't Hillary say that too? Didn't she refer to Mike as a super predator?
Yeah.
So I hate that he lied about it. I'll just be honest and say I was younger. It was another different time.
He did say it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Right. He did say it was a mistake. And at that time, I understand, right? So it's like we're holding him accountable in the 90s with 2020 capabilities, right? And it's it's like saying when you're playing a Genesis in 2020.
You're evolving.
I think
he said it was a mistake. He's evolved. He also said things that they put in place to try to combat that a little bit. Releasing 38,000 people out of prison. doing over 1,000 inclemencies, you know, trying to put forward bills to try to help people that's on drugs, not giving them prison time, but doing more rehab. These are good things, I think. But he did say it was a mistake. You know, he did acknowledge
man. Absolutely. And I think, I mean, honestly, man, I just, when it comes to that particular question, I don't even think we need to get, like, if it was anybody else but Trump, I think on that particular questions, you could take your judgment and look at the both and look at both of them and just make a call. And I think you'll nail it. Because, like, Biden comes with a level of sincerity and decency where his history of everything you just mentioned, Ricky, backs up what he's talking about. You know what I mean? And then Trump, just to juxtapose those two, Trump hits you with, there's nobody that's done better than
Abraham Lincoln.
Just on that face value, like, you can use your judgment, base judgment, and you can say who's full of it, who isn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
But a tactic that Trump. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, sir.
So a tactic that Trump did do, which I thought was very well poised, was he put a reasonable doubt in your head. Right? He gave you some asking questions, like 47 years he's been a senator. Why now is he going to do all this?
Right. That was one
of the
clean licks.
Right. That was like, that's a good question. Why now all of a sudden?
And I mean, let's not act like Joe Biden don't have an issue with black men voters. He is losing them at a larger rate than Hillary Clinton and, of course, Barack Obama has. You know, Joe Biden might still get 90% of the African American vote, but, you know, the fact that Donald Trump can get 10% or even higher, you know, 10, 12%, you know, that lets you know there is an issue with black men and Joe Biden. They are, you know, not sold on him as much as even Hillary Clinton.
What I was hoping for that Trump would have said was when they asked, okay, so you asked who was the winner. The losers were people of color. Let's just throw that out there because they only asked us 2 questions, right? That they just kind of breezed past.
Yeah, they smooth right on past.
Flew by it, but focused on climate change all day, right? But so here's the thing, right? What I was hoping, like, Trump really, whoever prepped Trump should have prepped him as this. When we have celebrity, like when they talked about, you know, people of color, all that other stuff, Trump should have not focused on Black Lives Matter and everything else. What he should have focused on is, hey, when I have celebrities who want to make black agenders come, I make time for them. Do you, Joe Biden?
Right on. He could have used that.
If he would have did that, that would have been like,
but you know what, man? That's a great tactic in this moment. You're absolutely right. That's a great way to get that a cleaner hit for sure. But I think even the licks that came in tonight, and your example is one of the best ones, because it clearly showed, like, Biden was kind of like, he was caught off guard because, yes, he's been there for a minute and he has a record to show for it, right?
Right.
I think that particular example, or just that moment, is more, it's more of an example of how Biden is not equipped for like a quick jab back. Because imagine if it was anybody else that was more like, imagine just hypothetical if President Obama, Barack Obama was in there. He's gonna hit him back with the slickest, quickest, accurate.
You know, but I also
will
think
just make that whole point moot. Right?
I also think that appeals. I think, Vic, that also appeals though to a lot of the older voters that are leaving Donald Trump in droves. They don't like this bashing coming back because honestly, Joe Biden could hit him with, you've been sued for discrimination in housing.
Right. And also,
but that's not his style.
That 47 years that he keeps bringing up, man, there's a lot of things Biden was doing. Like, it wasn't just he wasn't just sitting in a seat not doing it.
Right.
There's a lot of history there that you could.
He needs to bring it up, but he's not bringing it up.
He's not able to in that moment, which you could chalk it up to maybe that's part of the strategy of, like, one of the funniest things when people start breaking down like what Biden might do, might not do, is like, they kept using the analogy of like, Joe, run out the clock. right?
Yeah, right.
That analogy is constantly used, and maybe that's part of that strategy where don't.
Well, no, I think it is all the way a part of the strategy.
I think. Good.
I'm sorry, just to add this little tiny bit, because when I watched this, and I'm sure a lot of y'all, I mean, who's in the video production world, like the media world, when we watch this, man, we see sound bites.
Absolutely.
Material,
I said one.
Material that's
what was the
recycled, rebranded.
I got one.
Just, you know what I'm saying? Promos.
Well, Joe, to your run out the clock point, what Joe did though was he tried to use his charisma and his charm. So whenever Trump would kind of deviate, you would see Joe put his head down and go, "Oh God," or just laugh, or just exactly.
He tries his best to stay as polished as possible. It's almost like he kicks himself in the butt anytime he says something that's not on script. Like I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. So somebody coached him, Kamala. Somebody coached him to say, "Hey, go on, do it," because he thought himself.
Right.
He thought himself.
Dude,
Right.
I think Joe Biden really took him to task on the coronavirus thing.
Yes.
This is why this president is losing this race, and I think he comes off very not. He don't come off sympathetic at all to what's going on. And I think Joe Biden does, and I think in my opinion, Donald Trump really lost in that round of questioning. He just looked horrible. He
but
looked really bad.
I'll give you a counterpoint, Ricky, because I wonder if he lost anything, because like going back to my opening kind of, he had a very low bar to come up with, right? So there's no one that's gonna say he has a compelling case made with this whole pandemic.
Right.
Like anybody that sees what's happening sees it's out of control.
Yeah,
it's chaos, right?
I would say this. I would say, Vic, people who want to hear policy didn't hear that from Donald Trump at all.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you one policy.
Yeah,
right.
Tonight.
Yes,
to the point.
But that's how he always been though.
He played the dozens. He played the dozens. That's it. Your mama so bad.
With the coronavirus thing.
First 6 months was him going after like the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, all of that.
Correct.
And everything was all based on, we're gonna do you better. We're just gonna do better.
So here's two things, right? Here's two things that I didn't like that Trump did, right? Number one, I don't know if anybody felt this pain and this agony when the moderator said we may be going into 2022 like this, right? Yeah. And it was like, and if you felt the world was like, oh my God, really? Yeah. And Trump was like, went off the edge. And all Biden had to do, he was talking about masks and all this other stuff, even though we're sick and tired of wearing masks, and sick and tired of social distancing, but it is what it is, right? And to your gosh, Rick, and to your point, oh man, you talked about what? You know what? It just escaped me. I'll think about it. I'll come right back.
Let me talk about a soundbite that I think gonna pop up. He said he called China's president a thug. I think that's gonna be in the news. It's gonna be interesting to hear. Like him calling China's president a thug. He used thug a lot tonight.
I think one soundbite for sure is that 47 year thing. That's gonna be a clean soundbite for sure. Because that.
Biden calling them the po' boys.
Yeah, he sure did. And then
because I was out there, I was like, "Damn, I'm hungry."
And I've never heard Biden care until tonight. Have y'all heard that already?
Yeah, there it is, right there. Thank you for reminding me.
Biden care.
So that's So that was egotistical to me. That was arrogant, right? Okay. But here's the thing: if this is what I'm talking about with Biden, if Biden, when Trump kept calling Obamacare, Biden should have been like, "No, sir, it's not called Obamacare. It's called the Affordable Care Act." Right?
Yeah. Well, he liked Obamacare. He loved it.
Right. Yeah, but I know he doesn't say. But the point is, if you took the name off of what it was, like you're trying to blame Obama with that, right? That's like when people said, Barack Hussein Obama. They knew what they were doing, right?
Right.
If you took his name and said, okay, well, boom, the Affordable Health Care Act, right? And then if you wanted. And then if you wanted to make a play on names, he should have made it a Trump name and said, you know what, Trump doesn't care, or some nonsense like that, right? So
like, definitely use that soundbite for that.
Right, if you use that, that's the worst. That's how you should have flipped those balls.
Yeah, that's not Joe Biden.
That is not Joe
Biden. And he did lose.
He responded that way because Trump got him on his heels on the whole 47 years. And he was like, no, we're going to do this, and we're going to call it Biden. And I think that was just Biden doing an off-the-dome thing. And I think Biden has this ability of people saying, oh, Biden.
Like the grandpa, like
exactly.
See now, grandpa.
So I think he will get a pass for the most part because
I'm with you.
Those things.
The one thing about Biden that's very interesting is, and that's something we saw in the first debate is, I think the biggest pay-per-view on earth would be Biden uncensored, unfiltered.
Oh man!
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Just say, yo, man, go at it. Just go at it from whatever angle, whatever words, whatever. And that's the thing. Like, I think
he won't use malarkey no more. Right?
Oh my God! I haven't heard malarkey in a minute.
Malarkey. I was like, oh my!
I'm like, hold on, Papa.
I mean, y'all remember he was saying that a lot in the 2008 debate.
No, but the thing is, man, in the end of the day, despite of what he says, how he says it, the parsing of all of that, I think his message and who he is and how genuine he is behind the message of, yo, we need decency, we need character. Like, there's a level of like decency and character in this country that's been lost, and we cannot forget that. And I think he reminds folks of that better than anybody. And that's Trump's biggest kill.
Yeah, Vic. Trump appeal. His appeal is to a certain type of people, right?
100%.
You know, those people that like the brash. You know,
100%.
talking to you a certain way. You know, like that appeals to a certain type of people. Not to me. I mean, it maybe tough talk. Don't say that. I like tough talk.
If you have policy with it, I can get with it.
Correct.
Right, but you got to be smart, and it's not. It don't sound intelligent.
You can't sound like a third grader. You can't sound like a third grader when you talk. And
it's wild, man. Ever since he got elected, when I first even had when he was a candidate, the idea of Trump, I was wow. Yeah. I was like, wow, right?
I like America owes me money.
We can go off in a tangent. Yeah, exactly. But what I realized is what makes
you got a mic?
What you about to say?
It ain't it's a prop.
What makes Trump incredibly, in my eyes, what makes him very potent and very, radioactive is it's not about the people that he appeals to. Mm-hmm. It's about the folks that he's able to sell his message. Because in the end of the day, business folks love his policies.
Yep, the fiscal policy.
Good or for bad, he breaks down every single.
He only cares about the stock market. That's why.
I mean, and for business folks, there's this level of there's not a morality is not part of their ecosystem.
Right. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street.
And so it appeals to them. So it's not the people that appeal to him. It's the folks that's willing to look the other way.
Well, let me say something.
That scares me because
I would agree with you on certain points. I think small business owners and just people in general are a little upset with Donald Trump because I think they feel like he is one of the main reasons why we can't get a country back on track. And all this open up, and it's not working that way.
But to that point, though, I'm sorry, go ahead. But to that point, to that point, right? So a lot of them feel those are the ones who have brick and mortar stores.
Yeah, we talking about Wall Street is different.
Yeah, I mean Wall Street is different, right? We're not talking about. We're talking about small business owners, right? It's the small business owners that have brick and mortar stores. We're talking about the ones that have like food trucks that are booming. The ones that converted all the way to e-commerce, they're booming, right? So the ones that can't pivot are the ones that are upset with them. So I get your point.
Well, there's
the ones that can move around.
But that's a lot of business.
Well, there's a big sector of the country that's just stuck right now, man. We're in quicksand. We ain't
I'm with you
right now, right? There's definitely a sector of the business that's booming uncontrolled.
Right now, everyone has
e-commerce is one of them.
Go ahead, Vic. I'll let you finish, and then I'm gonna jump in real quick.
Yo, that mic is really killing.
After Vic, after you go, I'm gonna jump in because we gotta switch up. So
okay. My little caveat to this, or just a little addendum to this whole conversation that we're just now having, is one point that I thought Trump was very effective without even being aware of it, was on that very question of what is your plan, Biden? of getting us out of, this whole thing. As much as I love Biden, and I believe if he gets elected, he has a plan for us that's legitimately going to be sensible and move us forward in the right way instead of all of that. He didn't really answer that question.
No, he didn't.
One of the toughest things.
And let's leave it as a cliffhanger, y'all. Let's leave it as a cliffhanger. We got to jump to a different platform.
Oh, wait.
I've already scheduled to be on TFG the media. If you guys can come on with me still, you guys still have time. You guys, everybody's watching, go to YouTube, TFG the media, type it in. We're gonna continue this conversation, and we may have some other folks pop in too. So see y'all in a minute. Jump on Facebook.
Right, man, thank you for having me, y'all.
Vic, you coming back or no?
I will try.
Okay, cool. I'll send you a link.
All right, man, later. Is it the same? Hold on.